And now I realise the main talking point on the internet after the episode has been Rhodey / War Machine. So that is who we are doing our character profile on.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So let's not waste any time. Let's not edge you, and let's get straight into it. I don't know why I said that. I didn't like that.
No, not
We're
at
just
all.
moving swiftly on. War Machine, aka James Rupert Rhodes. First appeared as James Rhodes in Iron Man number 118 in October 1978. First appeared as Iron Man in Iron Man number 170 in February 1983. First appeared as War Machine in Avengers West Coast number 94 in March 1993. So he was around for 15 years before he became War Machine.
Yeah.
Born and raised in Philadelphia, he brilliant English. He suffered horrific racist abuse, as well as being targeted by local gangs for focusing on his studies instead of gangbanging with them. However, he avoided all the pressure to join gangs and fight back, and instead knuckled down, got good grades, and joined the US Marine Corps, where he was stationed overseas as a pilot.
Okay.
While on a mission, he was shot out of the sky, where he crash landed in the path of Tony Stark, who was in the middle of escaping from his captors in his original armor. They worked together to fight their way through the jungle, steal a helicopter, and escape. Upon arrival back in the US, Stark offered Rhodey a job, a promise of a job once he was finished with his active service. Rhodey declined. After a number of years and other jobs, Rhodey accepted Stark's long-standing offer and became his personal pilot and chief aviation engineer, while also aiding Tony's efforts as Iron Man in any way he could. Because obviously, although in the MCU everyone knew that Tony Stark was Iron Man, that is not how it worked in the comics. So he was one of the few people who Tony trusted with his identity. When Tony began abusing alcohol, Rhodey took over the mantle of Iron Man and maintained the role even as they moved from New York to California. So essentially what happened was Obadiah Stane tricked Tony into giving him Stark Enterprises. Stark Industry, sorry. So he then moved to the West Coast and started a small electronics company with Rhodey. And while they were out there, Rhodey joined the West Coast Avengers. However, Rhodey began to suffer from severe headaches due to the Iron Man armor not being calibrated properly to his brainwaves. This, over time, caused him to act dangerously and irrationally after prolonged usage of the armor and more frequent use of the armor, and it began making him quite paranoid also. This ended with Tony building a more basic suit to stop Rhodey so that Rhodey could go off and sort his issues. He went on like a kind of spiritual journey, found a kind of magician, ancient healer kind of thing to help him resolve his issues. However, not long after Rhodey kind of resolved his issues, Tony was assassinated. And Rhodey was named as the new CEO of Stark Enterprises, Tony's newest company. And once again took over as Iron Man. However, he was using a new special armor that Tony developed shortly before he died, the War Machine armor. However, Tony wasn't really dead.
Classic.
Someone had tried to kill him, and he'd been badly hurt, and he told like 3 people, and they all told the world he was dead. But Rhodey wasn't included in the people who knew. So when it became apparent Tony wasn't actually dead, Rhodey resigned as the CEO, took his War Machine armor, and went off to operate as War Machine, and severed all ties with Tony. Over the years, they've recovered some of their relationship, but it has never been as close as it once was after that betrayal. And of course, ever since, he has operated as the one and only War Machine.
Interesting. You can see some
So
correlation.
there's definitely some similarities between
MCU.
what we've seen in the MCU. I think most of the changes, as is what I think we can say pretty confidently about a lot of the early MCU stuff, especially, a lot of the changes were good changes.
Mm.
So I don't think we can complain too much. But it is always interesting to see the different path people go on.
Yeah.
The fact that Rhodey was initially kind of, they were trying to make him a legacy character for Iron Man, essentially
Yeah.
what Ironheart eventually became. But they could never quite get Rhodey to stick as Iron Man for whatever reason. So he ended up becoming a character in his own right.
Well,